15 NFL quarterback trade candidates, this according to SpotRack. Baker Mayfield, one of them. You see the cap hit, $18.85 million. Injuries and consistent play have Baker's future in question. Still should be considered the starting quarterback for 2022 as of now. Most likely scenario, Browns try to reel in one of the big fish, Rodgers, Wilson, Watson, but fail to do so. Run it back with Mayfield for 2022. Slight trade possibility. Cleveland trades quarterback Mayfield to a quarterback-needy franchise. Tampa Bay, Indianapolis, there's a number of them this year. And then they have Case Keenum take the reins in 2022. I don't see that happening. If Tim, I think if the Browns were as enthralled with Case Keenum, he'd have played last year. That, to me, tells me he's more likely to not be back than be the starter. What are your thoughts? Certainly Andrew Berry has to try to exhaust any possibility to get better at quarterback. Your thoughts on just them getting one of those big-name guys?
Well, I think when it comes to, who's going to start a quarterback next season, I think Baker Mayfield kind of has to be the bottom of, the worst starter you got. If he's out of the options they get, if you don't get anybody better, then you start Baker. I don't think you can go from Baker to Keenum unless you're planning on going for one of those quarterbacks in the 2023 draft, like Bryce Young, like C.J. Stroud, like Jake Haener from Washington. I don't think you can afford to do that, especially when you got a roster that outside of quarterback is one of the better rosters in football. So if you're going to make that upgrade to quarterback, you got to know it's a clear upgrade. I've been saying that for weeks, that if you're moving on from Baker, you got to get a better guy. And I mean, he's part of it. Baker as a part of a trade package should at least be a little interesting. I'm curious what kind of his value would be as far as in a trade for Russell Wilson or Deshaun Watson or Aaron Rodgers. Could he substitute a first round pick or 2 picks in there or whatever? That value fascinates me, but I agree. I think it's more likely. I think that it's far more likely. That Baker or one of those better veterans that they could trade for is to start in 2022 than Case Keenum. The only way they would go with Case Keenum is if they decide to kind of blow it up and try and hope they can get high enough in the draft to get one of those studs at quarterback that I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, and again, I think the as you pointed out, the rest of the roster is that's not something I think they're going to do.